Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Colts Cast, part of the Pigskin Podcast Network. We are here to talk about everything and anything Indianapolis Colts. My name is Eric Smith, co-host of the Colts Cast. Alongside me, as always, I have co-host Jamal Lawrence here.
Yo, yo, yo.
Please be sure to follow us on social media. Twitter handle is at the Colts Cast. Instagram is at Colts Cast. YouTube is up as well. Go ahead and search us up on there. We're the first ones to pop up. Yo, I got some Colts stuff on the way. I didn't tell you about this, Jamal, before we
No, you
start
sure
recording.
did.
Got on NFLshop.com. I ain't gonna tell you.
All right.
I ain't gonna tell y'all either. Just wait for the next pod. It'll be up.
Hey,
I
Les.
don't know. You know they on that free business day shipping, or
Yeah.
free 3 to 5 business day shipping. So it'll probably be here end of next week. I got some stuff. Two things before we get into our main segment. One, as of Thursday night, February 9th, we still don't have a head coach.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's starting to feel like we're waiting until after the Super Bowl when Shane Steichen will be available. What do you think, Jamal?
I think that Jim Irsay has been doing an excellent job of doing everything except for picking a coach, whether that be giving out Super Bowl tickets, retweeting stuff, posting pictures of him and Peyton and Reggie, or Marvin Harrison and Edgerrin James, doing everything under the sun except for picking a head coach for his team.
What if that picture had Jeff Saturday? We would have already known what was.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of reports that said they've already let Jeff know he's not going to be the head coach. Now, of course, I don't believe anything until I see it in writing,
Right.
because we know what to expect with that. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Jim Irsay, he's on another planet right now.
We'll see. Second thing, we posted a theoretical trade scenario where, and let me explain this. We send the 2023 second round pick, 2024 third and fifth round pick for none other than T. Higgins. With that, we got a ton of different answers on whether this would be good for the Colts, and that's good. You don't want it lopsided where it's oh no, that's horrible for the Colts, or oh no, that's amazing, because then it's probably not a realistic trade scenario. So, again, you can argue either way. On one hand, you're getting a true number one wideout potentially with T. Higgins. That could be great for us, be an upgrade at wide receiver. On the other hand, we give up a considerable amount of draft capital for that upgrade. So right now, I'm letting Colts Nation, Bengals Nation, they're discussing that. I'll leave it up in the air.
I'll tell you what I got to say about it.
What's up?
85. Can you do something for me? Hey, bro, we need a wide receiver one. Let's go ahead and get him, man.
Oh, you already talking about Michael Pittman isn't a wide receiver one?
Yeah, I've been saying that. That's old news.
Wow.
Yeah. No. You got to be able to catch primetime passes in primetime games, bro. Michael Pittman, he's dropped a couple this last season.
Talk to him.
2 games he dropped them. The Commanders game, and what other game was that? Games he could have kept us alive in a drive. I mean, no offense to him, but you want that wide receiver one money, you got to put them wide receiver one accolades, man. You got to do it.
Yeah, and he's not intentionally tanking for us. So
no, yeah, not at all.
He's playing for them Bucks, the recognition. So yeah, it's really what the Bengals want to do, as they go about paying their stars. Joe Burrow's due in a year. They got Jamar Chase. What do they do about Joe Mixon? Things like that. This ain't a Bengals podcast. Let's talk about Colts. Let's get right into it. 2022 season for the Indianapolis Colts was a failure. We know that. It's especially evident by our lack of players selected for the Pro Bowl. No matter your opinion on the Pro Bowl, it is still quite an honor to be selected. Even though fans get a third of the votes, posting all over social media. I feel like it's like the NBA. You can post as many times as you want and get multiple votes. And players, when they vote, they don't really have any consistency on who they think are the best players at that position. They might choose their friends, yada, yada. Quenton Nelson, he got selected to be in the Pro Bowl. Only Indianapolis Colts player. And he's got a nice ring to it, too, because he also has made the Pro Bowl in all 5 of his seasons. That's crazy.
It is. The first thing I want to say about that is that's, again, congratulations to him. That's a big honor. Not too many people can say they've made to the Pro Bowl 5 consecutive years since your rookie season. I mean, that's huge. And I'm proud of him for making that. But going back to what you were just saying about the 1/3 votes being of, Gen Pop, and then players getting a chance to vote as well. You have to ask yourself, with the way the Colts season has gone, the way everybody on the field looked this year. I mean, was that a fluke for Nelson to get it? Is it a popularity contest? Because I think there are plenty of other guards out there who had a better year than Nelson did, and I just kind of feel like it could be one of those things where it's like, well, we're on a hot streak right now. He's looking good, so why not just keep him going? Or not, he's looking good, but he's been consistently there every year. Why not just keep the name going for him? I mean, he's the hottest thing. He's the highest paid guard. I feel like it's kind of an act, just a handout more so
An
than
act
a.
of kindness.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we had a horrible season. We know that, but particularly, I want to talk about Quenton Nelson. We want to talk about him. I mean, he's been a perennial All-Pro guard for us, like you said, and All-Pros that's a more prestigious honor than Pro Bowl. So, but if you ask me, has he regressed since signing that 4-year contract, making $20 million annually? That's $80 million. High, what biggest guard contract ever?
Yep.
That's what I want to talk about, Jamal. The regression. What's the deal? What exactly happened to Big Q?
That's a great question. And just to take it from top, like you were just saying, 20 million a year. I think the next highest guard up is getting paid 16.5 million. That's it's a big difference. 2.5 million is a big difference. That speaks volume for himself. When we take a look at Big Q this year, I mean, because the regression has been significant. I know at the beginning of the season, the first thing I said was, they waited as late as they could to get this contract rewritten for him, and I thought that was going to play a little bit of a role because he was upset. I know that I read a couple things saying he was upset about it taking so long, etc. So I don't know whether or not Colts staff couldn't come to an agreement, because Ballard made it pretty clear last season that we were going to pay the man no matter what the case was. So there was no question if we were going to be paying him, a $20 million man, which they made it happen. But it seemed pretty weird that it took so long for it. But
I
we
wonder if
also
they were sorry to cut you off. I
no,
wonder
go
if
ahead, go
they
ahead.
were talking, of course we're gonna pay him, we want to retain him, but how much? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure there were some negotiations.
Oh, for sure. I that guaranteed money. I mean, he got 60 million guaranteed. I'm sure that played a big role in it, or kind of what those incentives are going to be. Because again, in this day and age where guaranteed money talks, that's what players want.
That's the important money. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, because you can opt out or you can get traded, and now boom, all of a sudden you lost 30 million that you plan on getting. So I wouldn't be surprised if that had a big thing to play in it. But another issue I think that we kind of ran into this year with Quenton is we forgot that he had like 3 surgeries this offseason, on his ankle. So you can't really expect him to be back 100%. Even after those surgeries, we saw it with Shaq this year as well. Even with these surgeries, you can't expect a player to be back, but we also can't deny the fact that it has just progressively gone downhill since the 2019 season. We take a look back in time for us, looking at PFF 2019, he was graded at a 91.2 overall. We dropped that to 2020. We dropped down to an 86.2 overall. We look at 2021, we've dropped now to a 69.1 overall. Then we look at 2022, we dropped down to a 68.4 overall. So that's a huge, huge drop we've seen over the past 3 years for him. Um, and I know there are many factors that go into this. I'm not saying that, that we're going to just take that overall and what PFF says and run with it. But their numbers don't lie. We can definitely see the regression there. Um, be it being the injury, as well as a couple other things I want to talk about here in a minute. But I just have to wonder what has happened. I mean, he had allowed 5 sacks a year, which was tied for fourth. He only had 5 penalties this season. Not really concerned with that because that's not that big of a deal. But I think that it's one of those things where we see a player play at such an elite level. Whenever they play like normal, you're upset. You think to yourself, well, what's going on? I mean, he's gone down tremendously, but and I'll talk about some of the film I watched here in a couple minutes. But you have to ask yourself, I mean, was he just playing at such an elite level that now he's gone to an average, and I say average in air quotes, an average guard? Now we're just going to disregard it all that he's done before, and it's just like, all right, he's on the demise now.
So I didn't think he really. So that PFF grade, the 2021 season, I thought he played well that season. Of course, we don't know what goes behind that
Yeah.
grade, but I don't think. Yeah, I didn't really think like he was terrible. But I do know some of those numbers that you were just talking about. I can talk to y'all about it a little bit. Per PFF, Quenton Nelson allowed 4 sacks in his first 4 seasons. Over 4,000 offensive snaps played. Only 4 sacks.
It's
That's
wild.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's impressive. Look, guess how many allowed this season? Jamal already spoke to it. A 5-piece. 5 sacks in one season compared to 4 in 4 previous seasons. I don't know how you define regression. I feel like that's what it is. I think he was better in the run blocking department, I guess this year. But the times I saw him struggle, pass blocking. All the times I noticed him struggle was while watching games when he was pass blocking. So Josie Jewell laid him flat on. I've never seen this happen. all the Colts games I've watched, I've never seen Quenton Nelson get laid out, get absolutely pancaked by a player before. And that happened in the Broncos game. And then in the Giants game, I watched Dexter Lawrence completely overpower him. And he drove him all the way back to Sam Ehlinger. Now, Sam Ehlinger should have saw this pressure coming because it was just backstepping into him. But of course, it's Sam Ehlinger. Anyway, I mean, Dexter Lawrence was just pushing this man back, just manhandling him, and drove him all the way back, pushed him off, and sacked Sam Ehlinger. Y'all ever seen Quenton Nelson get obliterated like that? I haven't. This is something new. So you might say I'm cherry picking these plays out, but honestly, I've just never seen it before. It's unprecedented to me.
No, I agree. I mean, you can, like you said, you can call that cherry picking if you want to. However, there are more plays than just those out there. There are, and we're not saying these to downplay anything that Nelson has done this season. We're saying it because you have to point out the obvious. You can always point out the highlights. I can blabber on and on about the pulls he did. These backside hits he's been doing all season long, but you also have to approach these ones where you're just like, this ain't the same guy who went 4,000 snaps and allowed 4 sacks. That's just not the same person we're looking at right now. So I think you're only right to mention those.
Yeah, I mean, our season bet for Colts getting over 30 wins went down the drain. Or I'm sorry, what did I say? 30, 10 wins just went down the drain. I feel like Quenton Nelson was a part of it. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what, man. Speaking of bets, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor here at DraftKings, man. The stage has been set, and we're counting down the battle to Arizona. There's no better way to get ready for the NFL action than with DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 57. New customers can bet just $5 and get 200 in free bets instantly. Plus, all new and existing customers can take a shot at an even bigger payout with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. Boost your Super Bowl 57 winnings. With each leg, you add up to 100%. Eric, I ain't tell you, but I got one rolling. I got a 6-legger going. Oh yeah, I'm thinking about putting another one in because the good thing is they don't limit you on how many of those that you can do. So I think I'm gonna do another one. I may let you in on this next one though. But let me know if you want to. Anybody else though, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TPPN. New customers can bet $5 on Super Bowl 57 and get 200 and free bets instantly only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code TPPN. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void in Ohio. See show notes for details.
Look, I feel like I've been talking down on Quenton Nelson, and I don't want to. I just don't want to attack him, but his performance, he was one of the players where I said at the beginning of the season, in the preseason, I said, you don't have to worry about. We know what Quenton Nelson is about. He has nothing to prove to me because I know he'll get the job done. He's done it the 4 previous seasons. So why should I doubt him in his prime? I mean, he's like what, 27, 26?
26, yeah.
Look, I think we should be worried about Big Q's performance. Like you said, the ankle. From what I saw, it was I thought it was just like a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, I thought so too, but
so you got to ask the question. I mean, did the injuries affect him? That's a part of it. That's a factor. But is this the start of the decline, or is this just a one-off season?
That's a very valid question to ask. And I went back and watched the Chiefs game as well as the Commanders game. And when he went against Chris Jones and the Chiefs and Jonathan Allen for the Commanders, I saw similar aspects in both games, which weren't good. To be honest with you, like you said, not to downplay everything, but I thought overall it was a pretty even matchup for both games with both Chris Jones and Jonathan Allen. What I noticed when Nelson lost, he lost. Like when Big Q just got beat, it was ugly. But even bigger than that, the biggest thing I noticed, and I know you talked about the run blocking being better than the pass blocking, which I do agree it was better. I still think it was subpar. There was just no explosion. That his feet weren't moving all from the line of scrimmage. They were just getting stuffed at the line. And that is where the biggest issues come in, because I don't care who you are as a defensive lineman. If you're not allowing them to push you 2 yards back on a run play, then you've won. You've won. So you may look at this and say, well, Chris Jones didn't get to the quarterback 6 times, or Jonathan Allen didn't get back there 6 times. What matters is neither one of them got pushed to the linebackers level anytime during the game. They were able to stay home or get into the backfield. And that's a problem as an offensive lineman. Some of the biggest things with Nelson I saw, his explosion off the ball was not there. He was standing up a lot more than what I've seen in the past for him, kind of standing up at a straight angle. Again, I don't know if the pressure maybe on his ankle still wasn't what it was up to. I don't know if compensating for a subpar left tackle, for half the season was an issue for him. We all know Ryan Kelly has been in another time zone since last season, so I don't know what it is with him either. If I can only imagine that this was an accordion where it was all out of whack, to where maybe Quenton didn't know what to do. Maybe he didn't know who to help or when to help. Although you do have your normal blocking assignments, you can abandon those assignments. I saw a couple plays where Nelson abandoned a double team with Ryan Kelly to try to get to linebacker, and then once he left, Kelly gave up the block, and the quarterback was getting hit in the backfield, whether that be Matt Ryan or Sam. So there are times that you do these things, and I just from what I saw, there were more often than not times where Nelson's feet weren't moving once the ball snapped. And now when I say moving, not that he wasn't actually trying to move, but they weren't moving up the field. They were either moving back or they were moving lateral. And that's just something you can't have, because you're going to lose the battle every single time. Now, like you said, I'm not going to sit here and downplay everything Nelson did all season long, because I also discredit the wide receivers, the running backs, the quarterback. All these things are
tight ends.
Tight ends. They're all factors in there. If we're pass blocking and I have a quarterback, as much as I like Sam out there, when I've watched film on Sam, he's a baby Kyler Murray back there. When he gets the ball, he just starts moving all around the pocket. And that's not good, because guess what? The offensive lineman can't see what you're doing. And as I've always said, Eric, if you're offensive lineman and you get a fumble when your quarterback fumbles the ball, you know why you got it? Because you weren't blocking. That means you had no one on you, so you had the perfect opportunity to get the ball.
He's also not Kyler Murray either, so
he's better than Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's trash. I would never in my life. If you would have told me, Eric, if we would have had to say if we can pick any quarterback this off season to pick up, and you would have put Kyler Murray in that conversation, I would
Well,
have had to
he
end the
won't
podcast
be
that day.
available, so.
Oh, I know. Who wants to deal with that prima donna? Anyway, we're not talking about Kyler Murray today. He is a child, but quarterbacks. If quarterbacks can't scramble around the pocket all crazy because the linemen don't know what's going on. Defense linemen can see what's going on, so they can swim, they can finesse you all day long. But just getting back on track with Quenton Nelson, I just was really discouraged by his footwork, by his lack of explosiveness off the ball, getting to the next level. That I know that he was huge on that last year and the year before, getting to the next level, doing a quick little shove off of the two technique or the four technique and then getting to the next level. But this year I just didn't see it. And I think that there's more than one reason to it, but it played a huge factor in the demise of this team's misfortune. I don't even say success because there was no success.
There was no success. That was a great explanation, though. You talked about explosion. I would have to agree. I've seen some explosive plays by Quenton Nelson, something that was absent this year. I've seen him pull to the right and lay out a linebacker, like things like that. You just didn't see this year. There were no noteworthy highlights of Quenton Nelson. It's more just average level play, which is subpar for him, which is subpar for what we're paying for him. Things like that. So, for me, I'm hoping it's a one-off. He got the biggest, contract for a reason. Like he played at an elite level that only a few other guards can say, I'm in that tier. I expect him to come back to form. According to the Athletics, Zach Kiefer, he's already mapped out how his offseason is going to go and what he's got to do to get better. That's good. Like he knows. He's taking criticism. He's saying, I know I played poorly. This is what I got to do to get better. That's really good news. You don't see that from a lot of players. And it's just not him that needs to get better. But this was about Quenton Nelson. That whole offensive line has to improve as a whole. Braden Smith, Ryan Kelly, Bernard Raymond, Will Fries, any swing tackle we gonna pick up, anybody down the depth chart, y'all got to get better. It's a must, especially if we get a rookie quarterback. I don't want sharks in the water just coming after him every single game. I want my quarterback to be protected. I want you guys to be performing at an elite level. That's what the Colts foundation has been for a long time. Always had a good running game, always had a good O-line. Now I want to put all that together with a good quarterback and a good wide receiver group, some good coaching. Like things need to be glued together. We can get right back into this. We can be playoff contenders within the year. I'm being serious.
Oh yeah, no, you're 100% spot on with that. I mean, this is the final straw, as we would assume for Ballard. So I think that at this point, you put all your eggs in a basket, and you do as much risky stuff as you need to because you have nothing to lose here at this point.
Yeah,
nothing to lose. It's only going to hurt you more if you say, I should have done this, I should have done that. No, do it all and have to ask for forgiveness versus not doing it and have to try to explain why you didn't do it. Like ask for forgiveness later after you mess up.
You have to hit the bullseye.
Yep.
And all that conservativeness, that's got to go. That's out at this point.
Yep.
You take a quarterback or you piss off the whole fan base, and you got to hit on it. So,
yep.
I mean, we're not getting paid to evaluate all these players. We know who we like, but it's their jobs on the line.
Yeah, it is.
We're not going to sugarcoat it. Like this is real. But we've seen not rookie, but sophomore quarterbacks. I mean that they're in playoff contention. We saw Joe Burrow go to the Super Bowl. Trevor Lawrence, divisional round. I mean, there's quarterbacks that it's getting young out there.
Mm-hmm.
We see all these young QBs in the playoffs.
What's the oldest one? Like 27, I think, 26.
It's Mahomes, I think, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine Mahomes being the oldest.
The oldest.
Like, we have to put this in perspective, guys. Like, this is not a full rebuild. We are not the Chicago Bears.
Mm-hmm.
We have quality players. We need a quality coach, quality QB, some offseason moves. I honestly think we can get back into it, especially in our division with AFC South. It's going to be the new NFC East at some point.
Yeah.
Unless, well, I don't know. They just hired D'Amico Ryans. Texans might they're starting to get some picks. They're going to make a move around. Jaguars are on the rise. Titans, they're kind of in limbo right now. That I think they're going to be the next ones to fall off. But either way, I think the Colts still always have a chance, and I'm ready to cheer them on every day.
For sure. And one more question for you, Eric. This is completely one I just thought of just now. So looking at what we have that happened with Shaq, we paid him all this money, all this guaranteed money, largest linebacker contract. We see an injury. He doesn't play well. He doesn't play at all this season, essentially. I think he played it's 3 games. We look at Quenton Nelson, biggest contract ever for the guard. A terrible season for him. Not a terrible season in a row, a terrible season for him. We got JT next up on the board. I mean, do you continue this streak of paying these max contracts for what it's worth to these players that have had injury issues? Do you run that risk?
So was Jonathan Taylor a one-off too? Like, I mean, that's another discussion because the offensive line regressing also impacted Jonathan Taylor's performance this year, but also Jonathan Taylor slightly regressed, in my opinion, as far as, I mean, his pass blocking assignments was weird. Like, he was just missing them. I didn't see that giant explosion, but maybe 1 or 2 games. It looks like he was injured a lot this season.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to give him a pass because of what he did in that MVP season, essentially. If it continues, into next season and Taylor's not the Taylor we saw from 2 years ago, yeah, we're going to be having that discussion too.
All right. I like that answer.
Shaquille Leonard, he's got to get back healthy, or I don't even want to talk. I don't want to even talk about that. He's such a good player when he's healthy, and oh my God. The fact that our defense was really good without him is a good sign. So if he can come back, oh my goodness. Yeah. We're going to be good. Well, that's going to be it for us, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Colts Cast. As always, we are live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any platform you use to listen to podcasts. We will be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content. Y'all take care.
Take care. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Have a good weekend.